Hey, Leo, Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here. Excited to bring in your January 2026 monthly reading. All right, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what the month ahead has in store for you, Leo. Now, I am hearing the names Michaela and McKenna. Perhaps that is your name, someone that you are connected to, or even someone that you meet with in the beginning of 2026. That could be important when it comes to your path or your journey. Now, bottom of the deck, we do have mending. When mending shows up, it tells me that you have been addressing a root issue in your life. So approaching something from a holistic perspective, body, mind, and soul. Not just putting a Band-Aid on something, but dealing with it so that the Band-Aid doesn't get ripped off 3 months from now and it oozes everywhere. You are dealing with it now. And I see that many of you may even be focused on your health, your body, your mind, and your spirit. So incorporating new exercise routines, eating healthier. You could also be focusing on your mental health. And I see that you are reprogramming, really releasing and letting go of old stories through consciously being aware of the new stories that you are starting to rewire and tell yourself. So mending here is healing. Many of you have done a lot of therapy, or you have done a lot of inner work, inner reflection. And I feel like you are taking what you've learned and you are applying it to your life, which means you're transmuting any pain, you're turning it into wisdom, and it feels like you're living and leading a healthier, better life because of something challenging that you've gone through. And oftentimes we can become better or we can become bitter. And the choice is up to us. It's through the lens in which we want to view our reality. But the fact that you have mending here, Leo, is a very positive sign because it feels like you are saying, Mel, I don't want to let myself become bitter. I don't want to deteriorate because of something that you've gone through, right? You don't want to let your health get out of hand, or you don't want to wait until something is worse and a tower comes in, right? You are taking care of something now. And I feel like you are in a much better space mentally and even emotionally and physically because of it, or you will be. That's what Spirit wants you to know. I also see here with psychic surgery, some of you are repairing your body through sleep. I mean, that's science, but also I see that you could be connecting to spirit guides and maybe even doing some astral traveling or lucid dreaming or receiving a lot of downloads and even cellular healing while you sleep. So do pay attention to your sleep cycles or patterns, because this could be an area that is improving if you do have difficulty sleeping, and you may be getting to the root of an issue and bringing in the physical. So you could be taking valerian root, but also addressing some emotional pieces of it. Perhaps you don't feel safe when you are going to bed. The nervous system may be hardwired and it's keeping you awake. So I see that you are doing some research and you are learning and you are evolving. Now, when it comes to finances, some of you may have had some financial struggles, or there may have been a cost that may have been unexpected. Perhaps this was a medical expense or a vet expense, but I feel like you are paying it off, and it could even be a mortgage. It doesn't feel like you are approaching it through the lens of I'm going to be paying on this forever, or this is such a huge setback. If anything, it feels like the opposite, where you're saying I'm tackling these goals, or I'm going to pay more down, or I'm going to pay this off sooner rather than later. So financially, you are in the right mindset to take action that is going to help you eliminate some sort of debt or pay down on something so you don't have that hanging over your head. And I also see that you may have gone through a loss of some sort, perhaps the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a home, the loss of a partner, but you are coming out of this. And even though you may carry that scar, I see that you are living your best life because of that energy. So for example, if you had lost a loved one, instead of suffering, instead of feeling like you are walking through your days like a zombie, asking yourself, what am I doing here? This is so painful. This is so challenging, which don't get me wrong, I'm sure it absolutely is. It feels like you are shifting your mindset and saying, I want to live for this person. I want to live my best life. So when they are on the other side, there is no guilt of how they may have left you. You are saying, I want to move forward here in integrity. I want to move forward in alignment with my highest self. And I know that I will meet them again, or I know that I will love again, or I will heal. It feels like you are really shifting a lot. It feels quite powerful, Leo. Now you have rest and retreat. Whenever this card shows up, it reminds me of the Four of Swords energy. So there is a bit of rejuvenation occurring. It feels like you may be taking necessary time to organize, to pay attention to something that may not have gained full attention on in the past. So for example, maybe you let your health slip a little bit. And this month, it does feel like you're focusing on something that really does matter to you, but you're not becoming obsessive about it. It feels like there's a focus, there is an awareness, but I also see that many of you are working with your nervous system. We have the parasympathetic nervous system, which connects to our rest and digest. That is where we want it at. We don't want to feel like we're constantly in survival mode. We don't want to constantly feel like we're walking on eggshells or we're living in a state of hypervigilance, waiting for the other ball to drop. And I see that you are resetting here so you can fully restore your energy and show up for the life you are meant to live. And I am seeing here a phone charger, and it is being plugged in, and it feels like that charger was at like 2%. So some of you may have felt very exhausted coming into the new year because 2025 may have been a very exhausting energy for some of you, body, mind, and spirit. And I see that you are plugging into source. That charger here is actually your energy, and it's like you're plugging into the things that lift you up, the things that hydrate you, that replenish your body, replenish your mind. You are listening to perhaps motivational podcasts, but I also see that you are taking action when you are ready. So this is alignment on your terms. So it doesn't feel like you have to move forward because someone says you do, or because, it's January. I see that alignment is the first step for you. Mindset is the first step. And then you can move forward here and take action on some intentions or goals that you have. So you also have signs and symbols showing up here. You are receiving communication at all times. We all are, through our body, through the world around us. Everything is a reflection. Everything is a mirror. Everything is an opportunity to learn from, to understand on a greater level of awareness. And I see that you have been asking spirit for a sign, or even a loved one in spirit. And it feels like you are going to receive the green light that lets you know it's okay to move forward, or it's safe to move forward here. I also see that you could be planning some sort of getaway or some sort of retreat. Now, rest and retreat can connect to maybe a wellness retreat center. It could be yoga. It could be meditation, or a practice that allows you to calm the mind. Because January can be a very busy month. It can be highly productive, but I feel like you're not getting lost in the external. At least that is an intention that you are setting for yourself this year. And you're saying, despite what goes on around me, the one thing that I can control is how I respond, how I react, and how I show up. And you are really looking at your beliefs and the way that you view the world, which again is so powerful. And you have intuition here. Leo, you are someone who is highly intuitive, and it feels like your intuition, your spiritual powers are increasing because you are no longer doubting your gifts. You're no longer second guessing, and you're no longer hesitating and asking yourself, is this something I should focus on? Because now you're saying, yes, this is an intuitive hit that I'm receiving through my crown chakra. This is something I'm curious about that I want to move forward into. And I see that some of you may even have a spiritually based business or practice that you are growing, that you are expanding. And I also see here that you're paying attention more to the energies within you and around you. And that means not only are you open to signs and symbols, but you start to view the world through this lens. You view the world through spirit communication as if everything is a miracle. Everything is an opportunity for growth, even those challenges. So let's look at some of the tarot cards. Some of you may even be booking a trip. You could be traveling in January as well, but it looks like there may be a trip coming in for you in 2026. You could be visiting water. I do see water here, but it feels like this is a very spiritual trip that resets your nervous system, or it helps you connect to your soul essence, connects to your own intuitive awareness. Now, I am getting ayahuasca here. For those of you that are familiar, or perhaps this is something you've been contemplating or thinking about, but this of course could be, a breathwork retreat, a writing retreat. It could just be visiting an area that you feel calm, you feel safe in. It feels like that is coming through in 2026. So let's look at all areas of your life. We have Temperance, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands, with the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So when the Six of Pents shows up here, this is an energy of resourcefulness and reciprocity. You see that there is a basket full of beautiful sunflowers, and you see the hands that are open to receiving. It feels like the universe's hand is at the top here saying there's plenty, right? There's plenty. The world is bountiful. You are tapping in to this infinite abundance. You have the ability to expand your abundance or tap into that flow because it is your birthright. So if you feel like you are in an environment or in a relationship or in a predicament where it's one-sided, that's what you are addressing at this time. That's what you are peeling the Band-Aid right off, and you are getting to the root of an issue and asking yourself, if something is one-sided, does it have the ability to maintain and sustain me? Is this something that can continue growing over time? But if it's something that is completely dead, done, and over, if there's no growth involved, we are not going to keep watering a dead plant. Right? And you are saying to yourself, you know your worth, you know that you have the ability to evolve, and you're choosing to do so. Right behind it, we have the Queen of Cups, and that Queen of Cups holds emotional intelligence. And I see, Leo, that you could be someone who is a healer, someone who is a caregiver. Perhaps you are a parent, a teacher, a nurse. You could even have a spiritual practice. But I see here with Temperance showing up, it feels like you have been working on creating a healthy lifestyle, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Because when you heal, the world heals. And you are also a role model is what I'm hearing. You may be a role model for those around you, especially for those of you that are parents, regardless of how old your children are, because you are living proof that change is possible. And I see here with Temperance also, you are connecting to maybe even the angelic realm, working with your own personal guardian angel. Some of you have a loved one in spirit who has been guiding you and assisting you on your path. And I also see that something you have been working on for quite some time. Sometimes it can be years where you've been on this healing journey. It does feel like you are finally stepping into the light after overcoming the storm. As you can see here on the Temperance, one side we do have the storm, and the other side it's like the storm is finally making way and the sun is coming out. So that speaks of mending showing up here, something that had been troubling, stormy waters. It's been a long time for you. And I'm also getting here Mercury placements and Saturn placements for those of you that love astrology. You may have had a heavy component that was affecting your chart, maybe even karmic lessons that you had to learn, and it may have been like a decade long for some of you. I know we are stepping out of the 9-year 2025, which is the last 9 years, a culmination point where we're moving into a brand new one energy. So leaving behind the year of the snake, shedding old skins, old layers, old illusions, and moving into the year of the horse, which represents stamina, determination, and freedom. Now, Two of Pentacles, we also see some sort of balance. So there's a little bit of a theme happening here for you. We have that Six of Pentacles, which can be reciprocity. We have the Temperance, which can be moderation, taking a look at areas that feel inconsistent, whether it is, again, health, whether it's relationships, whether it is how you are viewing the world. And then, of course, on the Two of Pentacles, you can see that she's riding a bike. How many of you have rode a bike and you let your hands off the handlebars? There's this level of freedom. If you can recall back in your earlier years, if you ever did that, it feels like that's what you're doing, is there's this piece of freedom, but also a piece of trust, because it's not like you are going to jump on a bike for the very first time and remove your hands from the handlebars. You have been training for this. You have been preparing yourself. And I also see that there's going to be a new path, a new opportunity, or you've been weighing up some pros and cons, but you could be at a choice point in your life, Leo, where in the coming weeks, especially the next 8 weeks, are going to be very, very pivotal, and you are going to receive some very powerful signs and symbols regarding a new direction or a new pathway that is opening up for you. Now, I also see here on the Two of Pentacles, you see someone surfing in the background. So again, another energy of balance. Now, health-wise, have some of you had issues with your balance, perhaps vertigo? This could also be memory. I'm getting memory, but also kind of rebalancing. I'm getting gut flora for some of you. So taking a look at your solar plexus chakra, because the color yellow with the sunflowers is highlighted here, but this is also our confidence, our power center. And you may even be going on a good cleanse. If I didn't mention that earlier, this could be a fast. Some of you are juicing, or perhaps you're doing like a liver cleanse. I'm also getting here like parasitic cleanse as well. If this has been something that's been on your mind, this could help you reset your body. And I'm also getting like circadian rhythm here as well with these cycles showing up. So that connects to like sleep habits and patterns and cycles. So that is something that is being addressed or looked at. Some of you could be looking at holistic health from like a natural path, or connecting to functional medicine doctor, looking at alternative or holistic ways to heal and work with your body. And I also see some of you are working with a spiritual teacher or a Queen of Cups, someone who can help you tap into your own intuitive abilities here. Maybe to tap into your own mediumship, your own healing, whatever gifts you have. I see that you are expanding upon them because the world needs what you have to offer, Leo. Now you do have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is the second fastest moving energy aside from the Chariot. It's like the Chariot's little sister or little brother that wants to keep up. But I see that you have an idea and it's sparked from your own fire, because you are fire. And it feels like this spark is igniting, and it feels like it keeps you warm in some way. Like this really does inspire you, and it warms your body, it warms your heart, it warms your mind. You're like, this is where it's at. This is what I want to focus on. You may have a story to tell. You may have something to share. Sometimes the Eight of Wands is communication, but I also see that the second you set your mind to what it is that you want or what it is that you're asking for, you start to activate this area of your mind. It has a certain name, I forget what, like a reticular system where scientifically it attracts, because that's what you're focused on. So if you go out on the highway and you are now driving a red Chevy Silverado, you then see them everywhere on the highway because that is what your mind, your energy, your attention is focused on. That's what the Eight of Wands is guiding you at this time, kind of letting you know that what you focus your energy and your attention on, you start to see everywhere. And I do see that communication is coming through here. There could be a very empowering conversation that you have with, it could be a boss, it could be a family member, it could be your own higher self. And I feel like this message calms or soothes your nervous system in some way. There could even be some health results where your markers are more balanced, or you are taking action to balance those health markers. Maybe this is blood pressure or cholesterol. Of course, seek a professional if need be, but I see that there's going to be some instant results here. Now, it doesn't mean it's a quick fix by any means. It doesn't mean it's get rich quick by any means, but it does look like once you make up your mind, you start to take action and you start to see progress quickly. And that gives you the momentum to keep on going, to stay consistent with an idea, to stay consistent with the version of you that you really want to show up in 2026. So let's look here at career. Let's look at finances, money. I see that some of you are balancing up your finances, maybe even moving money around. There could be a financial institution where you're not making as much. Maybe there is a higher interest, or you could have your money in maybe a CD, but shifting to a new financial institution could have a higher percentage rate for your money. It feels like you're kind of shifting and looking at things, weighing up pros and cons. And the Eight of Wands says you're no longer going to postpone. It feels like something is coming in sooner rather than later here for you. And you do have the past coming through. So this could be something from the past that you had already started or you've already thought about. It could even be a job that you've applied for. It says something from the past is coming back, perhaps an old job or an unfinished project. But it feels like you are infusing this new, or I should say old, something old is being infused with new energy, which means new momentum. If you've wanted to write a book, but you've had to put it on hold, maybe this is a class that is left over from 2025 that you haven't quite finished, or this could be a goal that you want to get back on track with. And you've been thinking about it for quite some time, but life happens and responsibilities happen and holidays happen where we tend to put some of these things on the back burner. But I do see here with finances and career, you are earning or receiving money perhaps from something that you did in the past. This could be through royalties. Some of you may have created a workshop, or you've written a book. Maybe you have a YouTube channel. This could be rental properties or income. Something that you have done from the past is bringing in some sort of passive income here for you. Or it could be an idea that you have to bring in or generate new wealth you are bringing to life this year. I also see that if you have applied for a position or even a promotion, there could be another interview or some form of communication, and I feel like you get the offer, but you may weigh up some pros and cons and say, okay, this offer is coming in, but is it conducive to my life, there could be travel, or perhaps there is a little less pay, but it's not as stressful. So it does feel like you're weighing up some pros and cons, and it's completely up to you whether you want to accept an offer or not. So trust in your own intuitive awareness. Now, you do have life purpose showing up here, Leo. And life purpose says you will have new ideas and inspirations that will guide you to your divine calling. So if you have an idea, this is giving you the green light to go for it, to set your intention so you can hit your target. What is meant for you will not leave you as long as you continue to move forward. Ask for what you need and things will align for you to carry out your vision. Yes, I feel like you are motivated and you're stepping into the light with that temperance because it feels like divine timing is at play and it feels like the time is now. The time is now. So don't procrastinate. Weigh up, of course, pros and cons. Don't make any impulsive decisions, which I don't see that you are, but I feel like you are creating a new level of stability or a new income source in your life, something that does feel like you can not only sustain, but you can maintain this as well. Bring this into your later years for many of you. Now you have leadership showing up. Leo, you are a natural leader here and you are stepping into a role as a leader because you are ready. And Spirit wants you to take the lead here when it comes to your career, perhaps getting organized or taking your ideas, bringing them to life, asking for what it is that you want, if you want that promotion or if you want to share your ideas. Don't hold yourself back. Your career will improve once you accept and step into your power, meaning you're not going to give your power away by focusing on people, places, or things or energies that are outside of your control because that leaks your power. And if you've been following the crowd, Leo, in fear of putting yourself out there, many of you, I'm getting your face as well. So it could be some sort of public persona, public appearance, public recognition. Sometimes this can be connected to fame. It doesn't have to be fame, but it could be like a YouTube channel, or you may be a public speaker, or you are being asked to show up, all of you. Not let imposter syndrome hold you back. Not let perfectionism hold you back. Don't procrastinate because you're fearing putting yourself out there. You have what it takes. And I feel like the right people are going to be attracted to your light and your energy. So keep that in mind. All right. So again, career, you may be taking a little bit of downtime to get focused on some of your financial goals. I see that with the rest and retreat, you're not obsessing about something here or obsessing about finances. You're saying, what do I need to do to get organized? What do I need to do to increase or enhance my abundance? Or what do I need to do so I am not living in this state of scarcity for those of you that may have felt limited in some way. So you're stepping into this position, this energy, this vibration that feels very expansive. All right, let's look at love. I am seeing the title of an old movie. Goodness, I have not seen this movie in a long time. I might have to watch it again. The movie is Urban Cowboy. I think that is is that John Travolta? I can't recall. It's been so long. Urban Cowboy. Maybe some of you live in an urban space, or maybe you are falling for a cowboy. I don't even recall quite what that story talks about too much, but it feels like there's a connection. For those of you that know, you'll know if it resonates with you. Maybe there's names that also mimic someone in your life. All right, we have the sword and the rose, which can represent communication and even technology. We do have talking, which also is showing up here with that 8 of Wands. So first of all, the sword and the rose, Leo. Clarity and truth. Getting honest with yourself, getting clear about what it is that you want out of relationships. people cannot read your mind. It is important to talk to them, let them know what you need. I also see some of you are opening yourself up to meeting new people and getting to know them on a deeper level instead of asking or finding out some things later on. It feels like you want to know about someone sooner rather than later is what I'm getting here with Temperance, because it feels like you want to be in it for the long haul. You don't want superficial. You don't want small talk. You want to know if you and someone are compatible, if your values align, if you have the ability to coexist together and to create something beautiful between the both of you, complement each other's energy. And I see that there is this determination that you have. And I also see that you have protected yourself at times, as we often do, because we don't want to be hurt. And so that mind can protect us, telling us, don't go into a relationship, you're going to get hurt. Look what happened last time. But I see that because perspective here is so big, or mindset is so big coming into your reading, it feels like you are determined to push through those limitations because you know that you deserve and are worthy of great love. And if something is one-sided in your life, I feel like that is shifting here, especially early on in 2026. Now, there could be a very important conversation that you have with a family member, with a child, with your spouse, or even with someone that there is some sort of an emotional connection to. But I see that you want to figure it out together. For those of you that want this connection to thrive. But I also see that there could be someone around you who has been hurt, and they may not have the tools, or they may not know how to heal, where you have done a lot of work and you may be a little bit ahead of the game, and they may still be trying to catch up. And just like that bike where you're taking the hands off the handlebars, it reminds me of the chariot, where you're trusting that you are being divinely guided, and trusting that, if you are meant to connect with someone, you will. And trusting here that your intuitive awareness is guiding you through maybe a situation when it comes to romance or partnership or love. Now you have a few cards that just came through here. Wow, no wonder. It could even be around February. All right, you have the Valentine's card here showing up, and it says Cupid's arrow. Have faith, love is coming. There could be a surprise invitation for you, and some of you are going to be struck by love. Like this could show up and you're like, where did this come from? And someone could also confess their feelings. It may even be someone that you've known for quite some time. This person could have been a friend, or maybe there was like a friend zone energy because timing was off. Maybe they were with someone, you were with someone. But I see that the both of you may reconnect. You have the key on a ring. You're going to weigh up some options here. Some of you may have more than one suitor when it comes to love. I also see that you may be expanding your mindset and asking, is there another connection that may be more compatible with my energy? Because some of you may have dealt with something very difficult that you've had to mend and work through with a current partner or family member. So it feels like you are weighing up your options here, or taking a look at some choices that you have when it comes to a relationship in your life, or putting yourself out there, maybe dipping your toes in the dating world. Now, Leo, we have passion and we have teddy bear. So there's that fire ignited within you. So there's definitely a chemistry coming in for those of you that are wanting that spark. That 8 of Wands is here. It may come in hot for some of you, where there is an equal interest. 6 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Your heart is like, wow, pinch me. Is this happening here? But it doesn't feel toxic, right? It doesn't feel wrong. It feels like you are opening yourself up to love because this person is also interested in you. You have the teddy bear coming in. This is flirting. This is blooming romance. And that's such a fun period and phase to be in. And you may want to date. They want to date you. And you may even receive a very special gift as well. So for those of you that are wanting love, it definitely looks like there is maybe a couple people here, or you may have some choices to make around love. If you're currently in a relationship with someone that you've been in for quite some time in this dynamic, I see that you may want to reignite a spark and come together with your partner, maybe even a second honeymoon, or trying out some sort of new hobby where the both of you can remember why you fell in love. And I see for some of you with the ring, key on a ring, there could be a proposal here as well. And if you are mending or healing from a family dynamic or a family situation, it does look like someone may confide in you or talk to you about some troubles or issues that they've had maybe in their marriage. But I see that you're not taking it on as your personal responsibility to heal or to fix. You may just let someone kind of vent, but you're also setting some strong energetic boundaries so that energy doesn't weigh you down. All right, let's dive in here and take a look at your archetype. What do we have here for you, Leo? Your archetype for the month, you have Gnosis here. I will find this in the guidebook. One moment. All right, Leo, you have Gnosis, innermost knowing and mystic truths. True knowledge is not found in facts and figures, in scholarly books on library shelves. Rather, Gnosis points to the deep and timeless archetypal wisdom that rises from the felt experience of having touched the unknown with every one of the senses. Those who are drawn to Gnosis find themselves in esoteric studies, likely involving mysticism, alchemy, healing, or perhaps science. Knowing it is their calling. Not knowing is their job description. No matter how far the alchemists take their studies, they come to the ultimate conclusion that facts slip toward mystery, and soon the mystery results in facts. This card signifies a knowing that is life-changing. Once you experience it, you are forever changed and become a guardian of Gnosis. The eternal mystery is calling you. Study your passion in the deepest way available to you. If you are experiencing the light version of this, the bright version, which we talked about, that temperance, you've both experienced the shadow and the dark, but I have a feeling you're coming out of that shadow and moving more into that light. The dark is intellectualizing and literalizing, right? Asking others. It can be external approval. It can be, overly critical energies or needing that validation. And when it's showing up as the light, which I feel like it is, it's contemplating the mystery and unanswerable questions. Now, those who say they know, don't. Those who say they don't know. This card relates to the riddle and the shapeshifter. All concern themselves with revealing mystic truths. So we have a lot of mysticism here. So when I think of Gnosis, I think of the seeker of the truth. If you want to go deeper in this energy, check out Bruce Nauman's The True Artist Helps the World by Revealing Mystic Truths. I'm not sure who Bruce Nauman is. He could be a poet, perhaps he's a writer, but I do see that you are seeking that out. I mean, you have signs, you have symbols, you have intuition here. And I think I mentioned earlier, really diving into that esoteric wisdom. This could be your spiritual teachings or learning more about your purpose. Just like in the life purpose here, it does say, you have new ideas, you have new inspirations that are guiding you towards your divine calling. And I also see past showing up here for many of you could also be connected to past life wisdom. And you may even want to look at your north and south nodes, because oftentimes that nodal energy, especially the south, can point to past life or past gifts that we bring into this lifetime. And that north node is pointing towards energies that we are meant to lean more into in this lifetime. So let me know in the comment section below, what is your north and south node, if you know anything about it. And if you did enjoy the reading, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, Leo. And if you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.